Have you ever used something, a website, an app, heck, even a doorknob, and just thought to yourself, why is this so annoying to use? Of course you have. Well, that exact feeling is what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to a little beginner's guide to good design, where we'll figure out why some things just feel right, and why others make you want to pull your hair out.
Okay, first up, let's look at this. It's a glass for wine. I mean, it holds liquid, so on the most basic level possible, it does its job, right? It functions.
But here's the real question, isn't it? Just because it technically works, does that automatically make it a good design? I mean, seriously, imagine trying to take a sip from that thing without spilling it all over yourself. Or how would you even wash it? All of a sudden, its main function seems kind of flawed, and that's the core idea we're going to dig into.
And that brings us to our first major point. The question we should be asking isn't just, does it work? It's, how is it supposed to work for an actual human being?
For example, take a quick look at this. At first glance, can you tell what it is? Or, more importantly, how you're supposed to use it? When a design isn't immediately obvious, it makes you pause. And that little moment of confusion, that, what do I do now feeling, that is the very first sign that a design might be failing.
And you know that feeling, right? That little spike of frustration when you can't figure out a new remote or you accidentally delete something important? That's not your fault. It's a design problem. And believe it or not, there's an entire field of science dedicated to preventing that exact feeling.
So, what is this field that's all about making things less frustrating? Well, it all comes down to what we call the art of interaction. This is the secret sauce that makes technology work for us, not against us.
The official name is human-computer interaction, or just HCI for short. It's a bit of a fancy term, but all it really means is it's the bridge between people and technology. It's part psychology, part computer science, part art, all focused on making our relationship with technology, whether it's our phone or the dashboard in our car, as painless and intuitive as possible.
And the way we think about this is actually pretty straightforward. It boils down to three simple parts. First, there's the human. That's you, the user with all your habits and expectations. Then you've got the computer. That's the app or the gadget you're trying to use. But the magic, the most important part, is the third piece, the interaction. That's the space where the human and the computer meet. And great design has to nail all three.
So what are we aiming for here? Well, the goals are pretty clear. First and foremost, a design has to be safe. You really don't want a pilot pressing the wrong button in a cockpit. It also has to be effective and efficient, so you can actually get your task done without wanting to throw the device across the room. And yeah, it should be usable and even a little appealing. It should feel good to use.
Now, to get any of this right, you have to start with the most complex, most interesting part of the whole puzzle, us, the human. If you want to design something for people, you first have to understand a little bit about how people work.
And for us humans, vision is king. We are visual creatures, through and through. The vast majority of information we process about the world comes in through our eyes. That's why the layout of a web page, the shape of an icon, or the color of a warning light are so incredibly important. They're the very first clues our brain gets.
But it's not all about sight. Go ahead, try this for a second. Just close your eyes and listen. What can you hear? Maybe a fan, traffic outside, the hum of your computer. Sound gives us a ton of information in context. Think about the satisfying click a keyboard makes, or the urgent beep of a smoke alarm. That's information too.
And what about touch? We take it for granted, but it gives us constant, crucial feedback. It tells us the stove's hot, it gives us that little vibration when our phone gets a message, it confirms that we've actually pressed a button. All of these senses, sight, sound, and touch, are the channels we use to talk to the world, and a good design has to speak our language.
All right, that's enough theory. Let's make this real. It's time to step into our little gallery of design, a showcase of things that work and some that, well, really don't. This is where you'll really start to see what I mean.
Okay, Exhibit A. On the left, you've got a super simple, totally obvious egg separator. You know exactly what it is and how to use it just by looking at it. On the right, okay, it also separates eggs, but if you're in a hurry to make breakfast, which one are you going to reach for? The simpler one is just more efficient and way more usable. It's just better design.
And then you have this masterpiece of confusion. You've got a giant "Do Not Enter" sign, but the arrow painted on the road is literally pointing you right at it. Your eyes are getting two completely opposite messages. This isn't just confusing, it's genuinely a safety hazard. It's a total failure of clear communication.
Ah, a digital classic. We've all seen this. The problem? Checkboxes, by definition, mean you can pick more than one. But the choices here are meant to be one or the other. Using the wrong tool for the job here creates the possibility for nonsense data. It shows a basic misunderstanding of how people use forms.
And this one, oh, this one is just special. The title of the box says error, but the message inside says the operation completed successfully. So, which is it? This is the absolute worst kind of feedback because it leaves you completely clueless about what just happened.
And for our final exhibit in the Hall of Frustration, the ATM. It gives you a nice, convenient button to withdraw $20, but as soon as you press it, it says, nope, sorry, can't do that. Why even give me the option in the first place? This design doesn't respect your time or your effort.
So, after touring our gallery of confusing, frustrating, and just plain bad design, what's the big takeaway? If there's one single thing I want you to remember from all this, what would it be? Well, it all boils down to one simple, powerful rule.
This is it. This is the whole game. To build something that works, you have to understand your tools, the limits and abilities of the technology. But just as important, you have to understand people, how we think, how we see, what frustrates us, and what makes us happy. Truly great design happens right where those two worlds meet.
So I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Now that you've got this new way of seeing things, I want you to look around. Look at your TV remote, the app you use to order coffee, the door handle to your office. What's one thing you use every single day that could be designed so much better? And now that you know the rules, how would you fix it?